subsidy sa fuel prices, kaya mas mababa. Katulad po ng sinabi ninyo, 30 plus per liter dito, 50 plus per liter po sa atin, no? Dahil po ito sa subsidy ng Indonesia sa langis. Sabi nga ni Secretary Almendras, $10 billion a year ang ginagastos ng Indonesia doon, no? Dagdagan ko lang po ng konting konteksto yun. Nung malakas ang production ng Indonesia ng langis, kasama po sila sa OPEC, may subsidy na po yun. At ang nangyayari dun sa subsidy, dahil mura po yung presyo ng gasolina, hindi nila tinitipid. At ang nangyayari ay medyo nadideplete yung oil reserves nila. Sa katunayan lang, hindi na po sila miyembro ng OPEC. At dahil dito, nagkakaroon sila ng problema na i-sustain po yung subsidy nila, no? So, over the last 3 or 4 years, actually, binabawasan po nila yung subsidy nila. I was here about 3 years ago, and I was talking to some Indonesians, and they were telling me na medyo galit sila dahil binawasan yung subsidy, tumaas po yung presyo ng diesel at gasolina dito. Ang puntong gusto kong sabihin dito is, hindi nila masusustain yung subsidy. Kaya unti-unti nilang binabawas yan. At pinag-aaralan nila ngayon, nakita nila yung ginagawa natin yung Pantawid Pasada, ang pinag-aaralan nila ngayon, baka pwede nilang gawin yun. Imbes na i-subsidize yung buong bansa, lahat ng consumption ng oil, iniisip nila baka mas maigi, mas efficient yung targeted subsidy na katulad ng ginagawa natin dito sa Pilipinas. So actually, they're moving away from the subsidy, almost a universal subsidy on fuel, towards a more targeted subsidy like what we have in the Philippines. And this is an economy that is larger than ours in absolute terms, no? $10 billion a year ang ginagastos po nila sa subsidy sa fuel. Tayo, alam naman natin, hindi natin kayang gumastos ng $10 billion a year. Ngunit ang idea natin, ang idea ni Secretary Almendras, yung Pantawid, ay pinag-aaralan nila ngayon kasi iniisip nila baka mas maigi sa kanila yung ganong klaseng subsidy imbis na yung meron sila ngayon na almost a universal subsidy. So actually, they're learning lessons from us. Yun nga po ang pinag-aaralan nila kasi hindi nila mai-sustain yung ganong klaseng subsidy. Kaya ang pinag-iisipan nila ngayon na tanggalin sa private at ibigay na lang po sa public transport operators. So kung ano yung ginagawa natin, yun ang pinag-iisipan nilang gawin ngayon. That's $10 billion a year, sir.
It would be good also to compare our fuel prices to the other Asian countries. Because we are not that far off. We're actually not very high compared to the other Asian countries. We can show data to that effect. No? Really, if we compare ourselves to the countries that do not subsidize, that do not have oil, we're not that far off. We are actually one of the lower ones in that category. Well, I was talking to the Secretary of Trade, the Minister of Trade of Thailand, because Minister of Energy was not here, so he promised that he will bring the matter to them. We both agree that we will try to either bring PTT and other Thai oil companies to the Philippines. And I was inviting them and I'll host them, or the other way around. I'll go to Thailand and do a presentation to them on how deregulated our downstream oil industry is. At the end of the day, we are trying to attract as many large oil players as we can because we only have 2 left. Sorry, 3 pala, but Chevron started selling some of their gas stations already. So if you think about it, you really have only Petron and Shell there. It is to the consumer's advantage to have many more large players who can participate in a big way. Companies that can import a Panamax-sized ship of fuel, because that's when prices do come down. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a few of the smaller companies. I was asking them, why don't you start consolidating your purchases para mas malaki? Kasi syempre, if you order in large quantities and you ship in large quantities, the costs comes lower. We're even trying to solve the problem of storage space for the very large storage space to be shared by the smaller companies. Kasi yung problema na natin, as you know, when the problem in the Middle East started, I did panic because I saw that our inventory was very low because the small oil companies did not have inventory. I mean, categorically, their inventory was the oil on its way from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Korea, from China on board a ship. Pagdating sa Pilipinas, these ships were not unloaded into large tanks. They were being unloaded into tanker trucks that were delivering it directly to the gas station. So just-in-time inventory yun. And that's the magic of their, that's supposed to be the magic of their formula that will allow them to compete. But now in a situation as what we have, it's also the ability to purchase in big quantities that come together. And I'm still hoping that some of the smaller oil companies can come together and order in bigger quantities so that they get the economics right. But the problem naman now is really storage space also. So we're also trying to encourage investments into storage space.
Guys, just one point though. Secretary Del Rosario has to go back to the summit very soon, so if you can ask him your questions now, and then Rene and I can stay to take more questions.
Well, we can be very straightforward with one another in terms of dealing with internal conflicts. I think that I'm confident that Thailand and Cambodia will ultimately work out their problems on a bilateral basis. You mentioned Myanmar. Yesterday, the subject of Myanmar came up, and the Philippines was consistent in its position that Myanmar consider releasing the 2,100 political prisoners that it continues to hold, and also we're encouraging them to make their political process more broad-based and more all-inclusive. They don't respond. I think every chance we have to be able to deliver this message, which is to promote democracy, we take that opportunity. I think he didn't say exactly what assistance, whatever assistance we can provide, whether it be mediating assistance or whether it be bringing them together, or he just said that whatever it is that we can do, please tell us because we are out here, we're here to help you. Essentially, that's what he said.
Well, the sessions have just begun, no? And we've only had our first bilat, which was with Thailand. In Thailand, there was no specific offer of additional jobs. Let's see what happens, because we have other meetings today scheduled, today and tomorrow scheduled with other countries. And these meetings were requested by them now, so it's really their agenda that will be pursued. But if there are anything, I'll let you know. So far, nothing specific with regard to that.
Well, we endorse the desire of Timor-Leste to be part of ASEAN on the condition that they can meet the requirements. That's what we've done. We also proposed that also has our full support, and that was expressed in yesterday's meeting.
How about all the other parties?
I think that there's agreement that Myanmar will be the chair in 2014, is it? 2014.
One of the key features of the bilateral with Thailand was when the Prime Minister of Thailand expressed real interest in the PPP program in the Philippines. We found out over lunch, I sat with another Thai official who explained to me further why they were actually very interested, because Thailand has played, one of the bigger problems of Thailand was elevated roadways and the traffic in Bangkok, but that they were able to solve. And from then on, those same companies in Thailand apparently have gone out of Thailand and have done a lot. In other Asian, not ASEAN, in other Asian countries, they've actually gone there. I can't remember whether it's Pakistan. No, it's not. It's another Asian country where there was a public-private partnership to build elevated highways, and 30% was owned by that country, and the 70% was invested by the Thai companies. So if it's about learning from each other, it's really, we're also listening to them about how successful they have been. Toll roads in Bangkok are all over the place. Literally every major thoroughfare in Bangkok is a toll road which was built by a private sector company, and for all intention purposes, it's PPP. So they've been quite successful at that. And now they've expressed real interest in our PPP projects, and they're also telling us that, you know, they wanted to discuss it some more because they have some ideas and proposals for how PPP worked in other countries. So I think there's also a lot of opportunities in that. The President gave them a list actually of potential PPP projects because the Prime Minister of Thailand was actually was very, very interested. He was literally asking, what are the projects, what can we do, are we going to build elevated highways? The President was talking about airports, they were saying, yes, we're interested. So the discussion during the bilateral with Thailand was, I'd say most of it was about PPP. In addition to the Thai-Cambodia situation, I think there was a lot more time spent discussing the PPP opportunities and how Thailand wanted to come to the Philippines to invest and also to share their own experience in PPP.
Well, I don't remember that it was discussed today, but in terms of food supply, for example, this is a little bit of an indirect way to answer your question. When we were discussing disaster management in Thailand in the last ASEAN meeting, which was just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about a rice